Hey, welcome back. Another episode of the Cadillac. It's been a while. Yes, it's been a crazy journey. It's been a crazy journey for sure. Anyway, you remember with the hood off. What's got the hood on? It is no longer in the corner. You can also see the old radiator. No more lifters, no more heads. Yes, it's under one. It's all in there under that hood. I got crazy busy with life. You know, life happens. Anyway, and I put it together, and I didn't film. I did not film. I did not film at all because it was a marathon. It was fun, but it was stress at times because there's so many unknowns on this car, like prehistoric unknowns. Like, I don't know the state of this. I thought the block was cracked, all sorts of things. It's all back in there in one package. Yes, it does drive. Here's the thing, it even passed smog. It passed the emissions test, finally. So the backstory, what did I leave off? I got it fired up. It was spewing, I think the last video it was spewing coolant because the cap wasn't on all the way, because I was trying to burp the system, but when my kid saw it, he panicked. And at the same time, the entire exhaust pipe was flooded with coolant. So when the cat got up to temp and everything else got up to temp, this thing was smoking like a locomotive. I thought that the head gasket job was no good. You know, I was really depressed at that night. That night that I got it running, I thought, oh man, all that repair is no good. But all that repair was good. A lot of things transpired since then, really. The big thing was when I did put a gauge on it, which was in the other other videos. There's a temp gauge. I did put the temp gauge on it and discovered that the engine ran super hot, like crazy hot. I got it. Like over 230, just going over 40 miles an hour down the street, which is no good. After further investigation, the radiator's plugged, totally plugged. Here you can see how much deposit is inside the little veins inside that radiator in the core. Not only that, it was a 2-row radiator. So let me back up and paint the bigger picture now that I know the bigger picture. This thing here, not gonna bullshit you, so I'm gonna show you the tag here. I am gonna show you the tag here. That's 5,676. It's 5,700 pounds, right? 5,700 pounds pushed by a 140 horsepower V8. That, yes, it's only 140 horsepower. Do the math. 5,700 pounds with my fat ass in it and 140 horsepower pushing it. This was the radiator in it. Okay, it's plugged. I have pictures somewhere, but look at the radiator, right? Two little rows. Look how big that tank is, and there's nothing there. There's nothing there. The radiator couldn't keep up. It's plugged. Anyway, fast forward, ordered a Chinese branded aluminum 3-row. Here's the comparison of the two radiators' thickness. And here it is installed. So there's the new radiator installed, much bigger. Definitely helps. Night and day difference. Now driving around town, it's around the 195 is the thermostat. I maybe push a little over 200 degrees. You know, going at 45 miles an hour with the AC running. Yes, I did charge up the AC. It's hot as hell. We're in monsoon season. That AC works. It's an old R12 system. I pumped 134A into it. Works great. Works great. So after getting that fixed, after getting the temperature under control, I troubleshot more of the smog system or the emission systems. I went through all of the checks, through all of these little devices. You know, you got the charcoal tank, anti-diesel, VDV, VRV, the EGR valve. EGR valve was bad, it had to be replaced. Everything else was good. The air injection valve for the carburetor, this is a quadrojet carburetor, electronically controlled quadrojet. I wouldn't call it electronically controlled, but it has an air valve which the computer opens and feeds more air into the mixture, leans it out. It also has a throttle position sensor that feeds the throttle position to the computer. Computer also senses the coolant temperature. This particular motor has the original air pump or air injection pump, otherwise called a smog pump. That's this guy right here. It diverts air pump. It pumps air or oxygen to 3 different places. Under warm-up conditions, it pumps air into the manifolds through the injection tubes. If you remember the air injection tubes and the manifolds, there's the tube, there's the 4 individual things down by each cylinder. That's when it's warming up. When it's warmed up and you're driving straight, no load, just kind of maintaining your highway speed, there's an air injection tube, goes down to the catalytic converter under the car. It helps feed fresh oxygen to the second part of the catalytic converter, lowering emissions. If you're either decelerating or heavily on the gas pedal under massive acceleration, the air pump valves pump the compressed air into the intake, goes into the air filter. Because if you pump too much fresh air or too much oxygen into the exhaust when you're decelerating, you're gonna ignite that fuel. You're gonna get a bunch of popping, backfiring, all sorts of crazy stuff. So that's part of the system. Works as advertised. Anyway, so that was the fight. Like, that was it. There was setting the timing. The timing was off. Didn't pass the smog the first time. It failed the functional check for being 1 degree over, which I think is BS because the thing says 20 degrees. According to this chart, it's got everything in here. When you jumper the ECU, it actually calls for 20 degrees. I think it's somewhere else on this chart. Right here, 20 degrees at 1100 RPM in park. That's with the A and B prong jumpered in the OBD1 port. When you jumper those, it reads the codes, but it also disables distributor advance, so you can set the timing. Small guy said it was at 21, and there's a plus or minus 3. But if that thing says 20, 21 should have been good. Anyway, I set it at 20, had to go back, didn't pass. it needed a cat because the cat was flooded with coolant. When you flood a cat with coolant, you destroy it pretty much. It no longer works. Also, with a recommendation from my old friend that used to be a smog guy, he said replace the O2 sensor because if it gets caked in coolant, the sensor's probably damaged. So for the $20, I replaced the O2 sensor on this, put in a new Bosch. Anyway, past smog, runs great, drives great. It's probably got a bad wheel bearing. I feel something not an issue right now. It's cold. I don't want to, if I try to start, it might not start. But yeah, it's completely cold. You got to pump it a few times. Anyway, runs really good. There's no visible smoke. When it warms up, you can't even smell it because of the new cat. Completely no visible smoke whatsoever coming out the back of that, which is good news. There's a noisy lifter. You saw I cleaned the lifters, but there's stuff worn out. Rockers are worn out. The engine has 88,000 miles on it. You saw how I dingle-buried the bores to save them. It all worked. There's a slight tick in a lifter. Not gonna worry about it. It gives it character. The engine runs great. Outside of the ticking noise, it's fine. It does good. Might even be able to lower the RPM one more time if I tap it. There. Now you can hear the lifter when it lowers oil pressure. There's a slight tick in there. It's called character. Character. Not gonna worry about it. Runs good. So, told my buddy to not overheat it. 5,700 pounds. 140 horsepower. 140 horsepower. It's drive it like you're in a funeral parlor car in the parade. Really slow. Don't push it. It's not a race car. So anyway, the project, sorry, I'm a little out of breath, ate too much. Just came back from a party. It was a football game today for the kid. Unfortunately, we lost 0-22. Got our ass kicked. I got to run the scoreboard. I was voluntold to run the scoreboard, which was a little nerve-wracking, not knowing when to start, stop, keep the time running and all that. You don't want a whole stadium full of angry parents coming at you, but I did okay. Nobody complained. I even got some comments. It was good. Here's a picture, a little selfie. But anyway, so we had a pool party. It was good. We hung out for a long time. Like I said, just got back. I got to finish this tonight because I'm delivering it tomorrow to my buddy. Get this thing out of here, but I have to tidy it up. I have to change the oil, change the filter, because it's still got the I did change the oil like you saw, but it's still got contaminants from antifreeze in there. I want to change it one more time before I hand it off. Put a new filter. But the main thing is I need to hook up a light on the temp gauge. So this gauge right there, I need to crack into the headlight switch, hopefully into the instrument panel lights, and hook the light bulb up so you can see that gauge at night. And that'll be it. I gotta hook that light up tonight, then get it up on the lift, change the oil, figure out which wheel bearing's bad. I think it's one of the fronts. I'm just gonna figure out which one it is. Not gonna fix it now. My buddy's gonna deal with that later. It's not a showstopper. He's not driving it cross country. But anyway, gotta hook up the light. That's where we're at. This will probably be the final episode. I might take the camera along when I go deliver it tomorrow so you see it drive and everything. Replace one of the headlights, which was burned out. I'm actually gonna shut this door and turn on my AC because it is hot as hell. It is 88 degrees. 88 degrees at 8:19 p.m. I'm gonna cool it off in here a little bit, or try to. It is toasty, and I'm breaking a sweat just talking to the camera. But anyway, let me get this AC going, and I'll bust out the wires and start taking the dash apart. Alrighty, got the AC cranking in the shop. So I pulled the light switch, and I got two wires that come to the illumination bulb. You could see when I turn on the light, there's that bulb, and it works off the potentiometer. To dim it. So I'm gonna tap off of that bulb and drive this bulb. That way it can be adjusted, the intensity can be adjusted with the dashboard lights. So I'm just gonna tap into these two wires, extend them out past here to this guy here, and then I gotta solder onto the bulb here. Gonna run that. Anyway, these two wires to the two wires on this thing. I'm not gonna film it because I gotta actually work and solder. Anyway, hooked up the light. It's actually dimmable with this thing. So I'm good to go there. Just gotta put the dash back together. There is a hole just below the light switch, and I could drill this panel right here, kind of butcher the back side of that, and I could totally make that gauge fit there, but I kind of like it like this. It's more up in your face. With this thing having issues overheating and running hot, I want this gauge kind of in the driver's face. I'm gonna hot glue it right there, because hot glue is temporarily permanent. I can remove it without causing damage to any of the plastic. So I am gonna do that for sure, to kind of hold it there and secure so it doesn't rattle. And then put the dash back together, and then all I got to do is an oil change. Get it up on the lift, put the new oil in and stuff, and check which of these wheels. I'm suspecting it's a front wheel. That's where the wheel bearing's bad. All right, time for the oil change. Close the car. This thing's so long and humongous that it barely clears the disco ball. I guess it's got room. Anyway, I got to turn this off to do the oil change. Don't have an extra hand. Get this knocked out real quick. Get the right wrench. This is a 3/4 or 19. All right, let me get this done. Alrighty, there you have it. There's the oil. I processed that old stuff here. Some yummy stuff there. Yeah, it's 2 different colors. That's why I'm changing it. All right, put the old sludge card back. This way. All right, wash my hands. Go for a quick test run. Hydrate. Gotta properly hydrate. Yeah. Alrighty, final tool check. I think that's it. Go grab my wallet and go for a spin. Alrighty, I'm gonna grab my phone. You probably can't see me at all because it's like dark. I put that seat belt on. Alrighty. Alright, illuminate in here. Well, it's dark, so I might not be able to even film. I will turn that air conditioning on because it does work. See what it's 76 outside. It's actually 80 something. Okay, well, you can't see nothing. Anyway, test drive was good. It's running good. Yeah, it's done. Gonna call this one done and deliver it tomorrow. This guy will be totally stoked. This guy will be stoked to drive it. I think he'll be happy. He'll be ready for Halloween. There it is. All right, I'll take you along in the morning when I go deliver it. I'll see you then. All right, welcome to the next morning. Got the car shuffled out early because I got the Renault in there and I got my EV in there. I need to clean it out. Got to do some work to the Renault, just TLC. I wanted to do it early before it's getting hot, and I wanted to shut that door and get that air conditioning going. So anyway, it's out, it's going. Taking it back to my buddy this morning. All right, get the AC going. All right, it is toasty. It is toasty. The thing says it's 80 degrees, but it is humid for here. It's probably in the 70%, which is pretty humid for here. It's 9:30, something like that. Anyway, get this circus rolling. Get this circus rolling. Alrighty. It's a fine automobile. This thing drives like a boat, like the old 1970s cars. All right. Try to pull this slow boat into fast traffic. Go. All right, so the right front wheel's got a dead wheel bearing. That's what the humming sound is. I figured it was one of the front ones because I could feel it in the steering wheel. But that'll get addressed at a later time. Kind of done with this for now. It's gonna come back for the wheel bearing, and I think my buddy wants me to install a rear backup camera, or just a camera in the back, because you can't see well out of this. Apparently when he puts the casket in there, he does have a casket. No, it does not have anything in it. Maybe a skeleton. A fake one. So when he does put the casket in, he said you can't see out that back window. And if you're backing this thing out in a parking lot or something, especially Target, you know, those people just keep walking, earbuds in, facing their phone, not really paying attention. So you do need a backup camera on something like this. So that'll come back for that at some point. But that is about it. Kind of sad to see this go, in a way not. It's fun to drive, I'll give you that. I like the old Cadillac feel. I love this little thin steering wheel controlling this gigantic boat or land barge. All four shocks are blown out on this, so this thing has that extra wavy feel to it. And he does not want to change the shocks. He likes the wavy thing, which I don't blame him. It's kind of fun. But yeah. Anyway, it always feels like this thing's struggling, but when you take into consideration the 140 horsepower V8 trying to pull this 5,700 pound vehicle, then you begin to understand why it does what it does. So knowing those numbers now, yeah, it's working the way it should be working. All right, come on, Betsy. See if we can get a running start here. Up the grade, 30 miles an hour. Oh my God, I could make a sandwich before this thing gets on that freeway and probably eat it. We're up to 45 miles an hour. 55, approaching 60. I could have turned off the AC, would have got me a little quicker, but not by much. Alright, that temp gauge is coming alive. We're up to 200, a little over 200, which is good. Looks like everything's doing its thing. Maintaining almost 60. So yeah, this is one of them slow lane wagons. Alright, the grade has leveled off and the temp gauge is holding, maybe even dropping a little bit. Yeah, definitely see the temp gauge dropping now. So everything's working good. Everything is working really good. Anyway, I'm gonna hang this up and enjoy the drive. All right, everything is working good. That temp gauge is holding pretty good, right at 195. It's got a 195 thermostat. Pretty happy with it. All right, I'm gonna call this video. Thanks for coming along on this crazy Cadillac journey. It's unfortunate I couldn't film some of the frustration throughout troubleshooting, but you know, when I'm stressed out over something, it's not fun filming. If I had a camera guy following me around, different story, but I don't. I have to do the filming, so it just adds to the stress. But anyway, thanks for coming along on this journey. Hope you enjoyed it, and once again, thanks for watching, and until next time.